And we're back. Oh my god! I think YouTube might be the worst thing in all of in all existence, and it's still buffering. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I can't do a quiz like this. I don't know. I think YouTube's having a bad day. Sorry, everyone. Quiz is over. YouTube's fucked. It's not working. Um, yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Just try again next week. I can't do this. I've tried everything. I'm not back though. It's buffering. I can't. It's buffering every 10 seconds. I think it's a YouTube thing because my all my stats look fine, but okay, well, okay. Some people in the comments are saying buffering, some people aren't. I'm seeing buffering. Okay. All right. Are we? I think we're okay. We're okay. Um. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to carry on. See what happens. So these are famous dads. So where do we get to? Rod and Todd. So, yeah. So, who is their famous father? Thanks everyone. Sorry, I might think about moving to Twitch or something. I just think YouTube streaming is yeah. There's also now because of all the buffering, there's tons of lag. So yeah, so that was question 31. Rod and Todd. Who is their famous father? Famous TV dads around. Who's their TV dad? 32. Denise and Antony. Who is their 34? So who is their famous dad, TV dad? Denise and Antony. Who is their famous TV dad? Yeah. Okay. So I think it looks like we're sort of back now. Okay. Good. Sorry about all that, everyone. I don't know. There's people coming over from the other stream. Hopefully. Yeah. So basically, YouTube just stopped it for whatever reason. It stopped processing the stream, but then because it ended the last stream, I couldn't start again. It wouldn't let me send data back to the old stream, so I had to start a brand new one. So what I'll do next week, we'll use YouTube next week. I'll put 2 links next week on the Facebook event. There'll be the main link, then there'll be a backup link, so that everyone's ready. So that if this happens again and I have to end the stream, we can go straight over to the backup link without having to rely on the chat. Yeah. I didn't think this job would be this stressful. So, who is the famous TV dad of Denise and Antony? And then 33. Who is the famous TV dad of Meadow and A.J? The famous TV dad of Meadow and A.J. I need that after that faffing. I just think I don't know how professional streamers do it. I've spent an offensive amount of money on stuff to make the stream work. The tools, I upgraded my PC. Still, I actually don't think this was me. Because all of my stats looked fine. My computer wasn't busy. Network looked fine. I think that might have been YouTube. I think YouTube just had a moment, had a hissy fit. So very, very odd. But yeah, it's just I could not be a professional streamer. It's more high stress than a Formula One racing driver. Question 34. Who's famous TV dad? Who is the famous TV dad of Damien? Remember, in each of these, I'm looking for the name of the dad, not the TV show. So, I want the name of the dad in each of these cases. I think someone started a fire. I can smell burning wood. Either that or my computer's on fire. I'm sure I've noticed that. So who is the famous TV father of Damien? Question 35. Who is the famous TV dad of Wednesday and Pugsley? So who is the famous TV dad of Wednesday and Pugsley? '35. Who is the famous TV father of Fernando and Denise? Is that Denise? Dennis? Yes, Denise. Who is the famous TV father of Fernando and Denise? My heart rate's 104. I got all stressed out. So I think a few of you are coming over from the other stream. If you came over and you missed any, just put in the comments what you missed. Those of you that are joining from the other stream, and I can repeat. 37. Lip, Carl, Liam, Nigel, Ben, Ian, Fiona, Debbie, Delia, and Sheila. That's Lip, Carl, Liam, Nigel, Ben, Ian, Fiona, Debbie, Delia, and Stella. Sorry. They are the TV children of which TV dad? That's Lip, Carl, Liam, Nigel, Ben, Ian, Fiona, Debbie, Delia, and Stella. Ben. I've seen this show a lot. I don't remember Ben, but never mind. '38. Bamm-Bamm, who's famous TV dad. Who is the famous TV dad of Bamm-Bamm? Yeah, Matt, that's fine. I'll work it out as long as the team names are the same. Just submit whatever you want. If I mark them, I forgot this week, but if I mark, I'm pretty. There's some leeway. Again, there are some people that are joining the new stream slightly late. If you've missed any questions, just put in the comment in the chat. Put what question numbers you've missed, and I can repeat them. But if not, we'll just keep sailing on through. Sorry about the disruption. This time I am going to blame YouTube, not me, not my software and hardware. I think this week it was a YouTube problem, not a me problem. So yeah, willing to say that. 39 is Meg, Chris, and Stewie, who is the famous TV dad of Meg, Chris, and Stewie. who is the famous TV dad of Meg, Chris, and Stewie. And number 40, question 40, the last verbal question of this evening's quiz. Who is the TV dad of Nick, Janey, and Michael? So who is the TV dad of Nick, Janey, and Michael? So that brings us to the end of the questions for tonight's quiz. The next round, I'm going to show you 10 famous fathers. You're going to get me 1 point for telling me who the famous father is, and then you're going to get 1 point for telling me who their famous actor or musician son or daughter is. There'll be, I'm going to show you a famous father. I want their name for a point, and then I would like their most famous. So that is slightly subjective, so there's a little bit of leeway on the answers here, but in most cases it should be obvious who their most famous son or daughter is. You'll get an extra point for telling me who that is too. So in the picture round there's only 10 spaces for answers, so you're going to be putting 2 answers in each box. Separate them however you like, a pipe, a slash, a dot, an @ symbol, whatever you like. Separate them however you like. We're going to get 1 point for each when I mark them. And again, a little bit of leeway. Most cases it's going to be obvious who the famous son or daughter of this person is. But there are some where there's possibly more than one answer, so there will be a little bit of leeway potentially. But in most cases I think it'll be obvious. So famous father is the picture you're going to see, and then I'd like to know the name of their most famous offspring, son or daughter, or the like. So with that, we'll go straight on and we'll do round 5, which is your pictures round. And we'll move straight in to picture 1. So who is this famous father? And for a bonus point, who is their most famous offspring? So who is this famous father? I'm sure Lomas is loving this picture right now. So who is this famous father and who is their most famous offspring? Again, as I said, there'll be a little bit of leeway on some of these answers. I'll use my judgment, but in most cases it should be relatively obvious who I'm looking for. They're not all actors. Some are actors and some are musicians. They're all either actors or musicians. So yeah. Both in terms of father picture, and their progeny. So who is this famous father, and who is their most famous offspring? And now to picture 2. Picture 2. Who is this famous father, and who is their most famous offspring? Who's that famous father and who is their most famous offspring? Picture 3. Who is this famous father and who is their most famous offspring? Now I know Dom is going to want to write a curveball on this answer, but don't. The most famous offspring isn't a curveball. It's the one you think it would be, if you know who this person is. So, who is that famous person in the picture there, the famous father, and who is their most famous offspring? Picture 4. Who's that person? And who is their most famous offspring? Most famous offspring. So that was a nice easy one. Picture 5. Who is this famous father? And who is their most famous offspring? Potentially debatable, but there may be some leeway on this answer. But there is one that I'm looking for in particular. But there will potentially be some leeway. There'll definitely be some leeway on this question. There are two answers here that make perfect sense. So I'll allow either one. Picture 6. Who is this famous person, famous father, and who is their most famous offspring? We seem to mostly be back on track now, which is good. Nan just asked the photo to tell her what her name is, what his name is. Yeah. Well, Arch, Nan's gone a little bit crazy though, hasn't she? She's never been the same since the stroke. I love you, Mother. I am joking, of course. Now, I've just realised that would seem really mean to anyone that doesn't know mine and your relationship, Ma. They would just think I was being really mean about you then, but I wasn't. I was being very loving. Me and my mum have a very piss-takey relationship, so I'm allowed to say things like that. I think I'm allowed to say things like that. Picture 7. Who is this famous person, and who is their most famous offspring? yeah. We'll get Arch. Tell Nan that we'll get her. And she's watching, but we'll get her a stair lift so she can get up and down the stairs more easily. As she's getting old, it makes perfect sense. Go on, people. We'll get her a stair lift. So, who is this famous father, and who is their most famous offspring? And all of the offspring have been in either film or television, or musicians of some sort. So they've all done something in either film, television, or music. All of the offspring. So they're people that exist in the zeitgeist in some way. Picture 8. Who is this famous father? And who is their most famous offspring? This one surprised me. I didn't know this one. So this is a little curveball. Not who the person is. Who the person is relatively straightforward, but who their most famous offspring is it's definitely it's a sort of pointless answer that Dom Hart would pull out of his hat. So I'm gonna go. It's one of those ones that Dom would line us up for a knock it out the park answer. Okay, picture 9. Who is this famous father, and who is their most famous offspring? I'm slightly quicker now, just to go straight into the answers, so you won't have long. Try and fill in all of your answers. Try and fill in your anagram here as well. We're going to go straight into the answers pretty much as soon as we've done this last picture. So who is this famous father, and who is their most famous offspring? And then picture 10, the last question in tonight's quiz. Who is this famous father, and who is their most famous offspring? So, who is this famous father, and who is their most famous offspring? So I'm going to give you about a minute or so to finish up all of those answers, to finish the anagram as well. So finish all of those, submit your answers. You've got about a minute, and then I'm gonna blitz through all of the answers to tonight's quiz. You can mark at home, and then we will end this evening. Relatively on time. I managed to catch up. I'll be a few minutes late, but I managed to catch up on myself, which is good. Despite all of the faffing in the middle there. So next week we'll ensure that there's a backup stream ready to go. I might simulcast next week as well on Twitch, so that those of you that know what Twitch is and how to use it can get a better stream. Twitch is certainly more consistent as a streaming platform, so I'll probably do 2 next week. I'll do both Twitch and YouTube, I think. So there we go. So that's the end of tonight's quiz. Finish up your answers, hit submit. It looks like no one needs any repeats, which is great. Finish up the anagram and all of the other things, and then I'll go through the correct answers. So if everyone hits submit, you got about 30 seconds to submit your answers before I start reading out all of the answers aloud. Thank you for all joining me on today's Father's Day quiz. I'm sorry that there was some disruption, and I'll do my best to make sure that doesn't happen again next week. But this week, I do believe it was YouTube's fault, not mine. So I'm going to stand by that and hope that next week we're a bit more consistent. So the answers for this evening's quiz. We'll go straight into the connections round. So we'll start with round 1, which is the connections round. Everybody Needs a Best Friend and Thunder Buddies are songs from the 2012 film Ted. 2. What word can be an old British coin, a British paint manufacturer, an alternative name for a dental cap? It's a crown, or just crown. The answer there. What boy's name can mean any one of 10 levels of proficiency at the grade of black belt in martial arts such as judo and karate? It's Dan. First Dan, second Dan, third Dan, so on and so forth. Dan is the answer there. 4. On the children's TV show Trumpton, the name of the captain of the fire brigade was Captain Flack. 5. The singer who had the song Kiss My Rose, I can bear you a kiss from a rose, that won all of those Grammys, was Seal. Question 6. The name given to the nest of a squirrel is a dray. Question 7. The name given to a duct pipe or opening in a chimney is a flue. F-L-U-E, flue. The word that you can make with the chemical symbols of lithium, nitrogen and potassium in order is Li for lithium, N for nitrogen, and K for potassium. So the word is link. What word... what is the surname of the lead singer of the pop group Wet, Wet, Wet? It was Pello, Marty Pello. And what links the previous 9 answers? Colours with their first letter changed. Red, brown, tan, black, teal, grey, blue, pink and yellow. I'm sure there's going to be lots of people yelling at me in the comments about that answer, but never mind. What was round 2? I can't remember. Round 2 was sports and games. Perfect. So the answers to the sports and games round. What has more players? A polo team or a water polo team? The correct answer is B, a water polo team. It has 7 versus just 4 in a regular polo team. So a water polo team has more players. In football, the name of the goal line technology. Nope, this is wrong. The answer that's got written down here as the in football, what is the name of the goal line technology that is used for whether the ball has crossed the line, is Hawkeye, but that's incorrect. It's VAR. VAR is what I was looking for. Hawkeye is not correct. It's a different company that supplies it for the Premier League. I'm assuming you all agree with me on that one as well. No one wrote Hawkeye and is very upset, right? I'm assuming. It's VAR. It's a completely different company. 3, in 2019, Simona Halep became the first female tennis player from Romania to win Wimbledon. In the game Pac-Man, there are 4 ghosts that chase Pac-Man around. 4 ghosts. Question 5, the word that can refer to the horse race where you have to jump over hedges and ditches, and an athletics race where runners have to jump over hurdles and water jumps, is a steeplechase. Steeplechase. Mainly played in the Scottish Highlands, the game that's really similar to hockey, with a stick called a caiman that can be used on both sides, and you can play a ball in the air with it, is shinty. S-H-I-N-T-Y. Shinty. I don't know that game. In 2012, Donald Trump said that he would no longer watch the USA's national soccer team after a 27 policy required players to stand during the national anthem was repealed. So players no longer need to stand during the national anthem. Anything to do with standing during the national anthem or taking a knee or any of those kind of things is absolutely fine. I'll use my discretion on that answer. Question 8, in horse racing, the Grand National is held at Aintree, apart from for a few years during the war, where I believe it was held at Newmarket. Question 9, who became England cricket captain in 2008 but resigned just 5 months later following a dispute with coach Peter Moores? It was Kevin Peterson. Or Peterson. That's spelled weird, but yeah, Kevin Peterson. In 1924, the first ever Winter Olympics was held in France. So, the next one, geography. The British city that was once called St John's Town, in reference to its main church, is Perth, home of St John's Town football team. The airport in New York that's named after a famous person is JFK, John F. Kennedy. So anything John F. Kennedy, JFK, any of those is fine. With a large number of canals and bridges, which city in Belgium is often referred to as Venice of the North? It's Bruges. Lovely city. I recommend you all go. Don't climb the Belfort. It's not worth it. Takes forever. 4. Also the third largest city in the country. What is the third largest city in British Columbia? It's Vancouver. Sumatra, Java, Borneo and Bali are all parts of Indonesia. In 1631, Shah Jahan commissioned the building of the Taj Mahal to commemorate his late wife and his 14th child. In 1991, the European Union adopted which 3-digit number, as the standard to get emergency services anywhere in the EU? It was 112. I'm being told that Hawkeye is correct. 2 people have told me that Hawkeye is correct. Except it's not, though, because the company that provides Hawkeye for tennis, they don't provide VAR for the Premier League. It's a different company. So, Hawkeye is the technology that they use at Wimbledon. It's a different technology from a different company that they use during the Premier League. But I'm being told Hawkeye is correct. So I'm going to give both Hawkeye and VAR in that instance. I'm going to give them both because I think that question was terrible. Anyway, question 8. K2 is the second highest mountain in the world. It borders both China and Pakistan. Pakistan, not Nepal. I'm sure a lot of you put Nepal, but that is incorrect. It is Pakistan. What colour features on the flag of Italy but not on the flag of the United Kingdom? It's green. Question 10. The westernmost point of Great Britain is in B, Scotland. So we're going to do TV dads now. Round 4, TV dads. Rod and Todd, their dad is Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. Denise and Antony, their dad is Jim Royal from the Royal Family. Meadow and A.J, their father is Tony Soprano from The Sopranos. Damien's dad is Derek Trotter from Only Fools and Horses. Wednesday and Pugsley, their father is Gomez Adams from the Addams Family. Fernando and Denise is Alan Partridge from the TV show I'm Alan Partridge. Lip, Carl, Liam, Nigel, Ben, Ian, Fiona, Debbie, Delia and Stella is Frank Gallagher from Shameless. Fantastic show. I recommend everyone watch it. Bamm-Bamm's dad is Barney Rubble. Some of you might have put Fred Flintstone. That is wrong. It's Barney Rubble from the Flintstones. Meg, Chris and Stewie's dad is Peter Griffin from Family Guy. And Nick, Janey and Michael is Ben Harper from My Family. So there we go. So now we'll go on to the picture round. These pictures. So picture one was was Lloyd Bridges, and their most famous offspring was Jeff Bridges. I know Jeff Bridges has an acting brother, but Jeff Bridges is what I was looking for there. Picture two was Tony Curtis, and his most famous offspring was Jamie Lee Curtis. Picture three was Billy Ray Cyrus, and his most famous offspring was Miley Cyrus. Picture four, Will Smith, and his most famous offspring was Jaden Smith. I may accept Willow Smith, but I probably won't because Jaden is almost certainly more famous than Willow is. Picture five is Martin Sheen, and I will accept either Emilio Estevez or Charlie Sheen. Both of those are absolutely fine. I figure they're probably about as famous as each other. Charlie Sheen maybe slightly more so, but Emilio, certainly for the older generation, is very famous. Picture six is Henry Fonda. Obviously his famous daughter there is Jane Fonda. I think Peter Fonda, her brother, is also an actor, but Jane Fonda is undoubtedly more famous. Picture seven, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks' most famous acting son is Colin Hanks. He's been in a number of films. Colin Hanks. Picture 8 there is Ron Howard. This is one that I expected Dom to get. Ron Howard has a daughter who's acted in things like Black Mirror and the Twilight films and a few other things. Bryce Dallas Howard. That's his famous daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard. Well done if you got that. Very good answer. Picture 9 was John Voight. And John Voight's most famous daughter is Angelina Jolie. Picture 10 is Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz has a daughter called Zoe Kravitz, who was in a ton of films. So Zoe Kravitz is what I was looking for there. So well done. That brings us to the end of this. Well, fair enough. Yeah, so there we go. Congratulations to everyone. I'm going to go back into the comments now and see the controversy that I'm being told it is. So anyway, I'm going to give both Hawkeye and VAR. Both of those I'm giving as correct. I was under the impression that they were two separate companies, as in that there were two separate companies who applied the Goal Line technology and Hawkeye. I still believe that to be true, but I'm being told otherwise. So that's absolutely fine. I'm going to give both. Thanks everyone. Sorry about the interruption. I'll see you all next week, and hopefully it will be slightly better than it was this week. Yeah. Cheers everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks again.